Hello and welcome to Euphoria. In this video I'll be continuing my series on the design and build of a LEGO modular building. This is going to be a large office building and research institute. Today I'll be looking at the build phase, in which I make a start on the build of this MOC. Before I start on the construction, I'll just remind you about the main features of this building. It's going to be a straight modular building. That means it needs to follow the modular building standards and be able to connect to a modular building at each side. The building will be quite large. It will be built on a 48 stud wide base plate and will be 5 stories high, which will amount to about 70 bricks and a height of about 67 centimetres. The building is quite modern in style and has a profile which includes sloping and curved panels at the front and curved panels at the back. To create a modern style, I created a structure for this building with large glass areas for the walls and a girder and beam structure to provide support. The building will have an external elevator that runs on tracks up and down the back of the building. I tried out the track system and elevator by building a prototype system. It seems to work okay, so I'm going to continue that in this build. All the videos describing the development of the concept and design for this MOC are available on this channel. Check them out if you're interested. There's a link in the card above and in the description below. In previous videos we completed the design for this MOC and I showed you one of the prototype builds that I made to try things out. In the design videos, I not only designed the structure of the building, but I also decided the interior layout. Then in the final design, I added quite a lot of details and added the fixtures and fittings for the interior and exterior of the building. So now we're in the build phase for this MOC. The first part of the build phase was the procurement of all the parts I need and the preparation for the build itself. I've just about completed the procurement phase, so I now have the parts I need to build this MOC. Here are all the parts, sorted into their different shapes, sizes and colours, ready for the build. There are about 5,000 parts needed for this MOC. So now we're ready to make a start on the build for this quite large MOC, and we'll see if the design works out in practice. I'm starting this MOC with a 32 by 32 base plate and a 16 by 32 base plate in dark bluish grey, making this modular building 1.5 base plates or 48 studs wide. That will make it larger than most standard modulars and the same width as the assembly square set. I've laid out the footprint of this building on the base plates like this and included the modular connection points at the sides of the building here. I'll tile the pavement or sidewalk area in front of the building with dark bluish grey tiles representing paving slabs. So that's the pavement done. I've included some jumper plates to provide anchor points for minifigs, but I'll add details like the lampposts later. As the paving was a bit boring, just completely plain, I decided to be a little bit creative and put a decorative feature in the paving outside the main entrance. Inside the building, I'm putting down a layer of plates and tiles to make the appearance of a tiled floor. On the ground floor is the main entrance to the building at the front, and so in the centre of the building is the main lobby. Just off the lobby is one of the restrooms. At the back is the access to the elevator, which will run on tracks up and down the back of the building. On the left hand side there's a rest area, and I'll put some details in here later, like a vending machine and some seating. On the right hand side is the reception area. There's a reception desk and an area for the receptionist. At this end of the building is the security room, and there's a separate door to the security room for visitors who need to be seen at the security reception desk. Hooray! It's good to see the construction team back at work. Now we can start building up the walls. This MOC is based on the idea of a modern building made of a kind of girder structure, which I'm making of dark blue bricks for the risers, and it will have Technic beams for the cross members. I'm making these kind of L-shaped cross sections for the girders at the corners to add strength to the build. The side walls will be solid, built of panels and bricks, as usually on each side of a straight modular building there will be another modular building. The front and back of the building uses light bluish grey frames with transparent light blue glass. These are really a throwback to the original inspiration for this building, which was the Avengers Tower battle set. On the ground floor I'm using slopes and inverse slopes to provide an outward slope to the girders. The window panels also slope outwards to match the slope of the girder structure. I'm doing that by mounting them on these hinge bricks at the bottom of the frames. There are curved panels at the back of the building. They also appeared in the Avengers Tower set, but just about everything else has developed from that idea, and the design has moved on so much that I don't think you'd recognise any of that set in this MOC. I'm using these long Technic bricks to act as beams across the top of the girders, to tie the walls together and to help support the floor above. They don't have to be Technic beams, but they are available in the sizes I need, and I thought that the holes give a kind of industrial feel to the building. Actually, there are some Technic bricks and Technic pins used in the construction, and that's here, where I need some binding between sections, but I also want to keep the colour separation. So I've used 1x1 Technic bricks and a Technic pin to join them together. At the top is the usual tiling layer to enable separation of the floors in modular style. So that's the ground floor complete. As you can see, it's quite high for a modular building, and that's to give the reception a nice spacious feel. It also means that the track sections for the elevator end exactly at the separation point between the floors, and they will continue upwards to the next floor. So now let's start on the first floor. Each floor of this building is slightly different, but the method of construction is the same for all the remaining floors of this building. I'm going to start with making the floor plate. My normal method for making floor plates uses 1x something plates to support the edges of the floors and 2x something plates to join the floor plates together. For this MOC I'm doing something slightly different from my normal method. I'm using mostly 2 by something plates to support the edges of the floors, because they're also supporting the window frames, and because I wanted to keep the appearance of a continuous run of glass panels at the front and back of the building. So before I proceed any further, I'm just going to check that this first floor plate fits correctly onto the ground floor section that I already made. And yes, as I check all the way round, it looks like it fits perfectly. So now I know that it fits, I can get on with building this level. Onto the floor plate, I build the side walls. There's a restroom on this floor in the same position as the one on the ground floor. On this floor of the building, there are some internal walls to separate off the materials science lab and its clean room from the rest of the building. There's also a kind of airlock arrangement to provide access to the clean room. I got some stickers to make this special airlock door to give access to the clean room. And there's also some heating, ventilation and air conditioning ducting to go between the clean room and the machinery space, which is on the ground floor. At the back is the continuation of the tracks for the elevator. I'll look at how this works in a minute. On the right hand side of this floor is the area for the robotics lab. I'll add the details for this area later. Beams join up the girders again to provide strength to the structure and support to the floor above. And at the top of this floor there's another separation layer of tiles so that the next floor can be removed for access. You may notice that this floor is only 10 bricks high, and that will be the same for all the other floors in this building. This double height arrangement of these curved panels is a bit unusual, and I've had to do that because these panels are 6 bricks high, the same as one of the window frames, but there's no 3 brick high half panel equivalent to one of these 3 high windows. There's a similar issue with the roller coaster tracks, which are 6 2/3 bricks high or long, and you'll see how I resolve both of those issues when I build the next level of this building. And that completes building the structure of the first floor. At this point, I'm just going to check that the elevator still works on this track system using these roller coaster tracks. I tried this before when I designed and prototyped the elevator and track system, so if I've designed and built this correctly, it should still work. Here's the elevator car. There's a separate video on my channel about how I designed this to fit with the roller coaster tracks. For now, I'll just check that it fits on the tracks and can move smoothly between the levels of the building. I've only got part of the track here, but when I fit the elevator car on and try it out, I can see that it runs up and down the tracks and runs over the joins in the tracks smoothly as well. So this video is getting a bit longer than I'd hoped, and I'm running out of time for this video. This is quite a large MOC, and I still have another 3 floors and the roof to construct, and there's quite a lot of features still to include in the build. So what I'm going to do is break here and continue the build of this MOC in the next video. It's going pretty well so far, and I'm hoping that the next stage of the build will also go together as designed and be reasonably quick. So make sure you subscribe and come back for the next video in this series, where I should be completing the construction of the main structure for this MOC. I hope you enjoyed watching the build of this part of the MOC. Thanks for watching, and look out for the next video.